Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Khalil Salem speaking, Associate Professor from MUTAH University. Today we're going to describe briefly the anatomy and physiology of the retina. The retina has 10 layers. The first layer, which is the retinal pigment epithelium. Embryologically, the retinal pigment epithelium is so different from the other 9 layers, as the 9 layers are called the neurosensory retina. Neurosensory retina is divided into receptors, first order neurons, and then second order neurons. The receptors are called the photoreceptors. So the photoreceptors are divided into 2 types of receptors. We have the cones, which are the short ones here in the picture, and we have the rods, which are the long ones in this picture. Now the cones are responsible for sharp vision, they are responsible for colored vision and static vision. Now the rods are responsible for night vision, movement, black and white vision. Now in the photoreceptors, the signal is either conducted one-to-one as seen in the cones, where one cone will convey the signal to one bipolar cell, and then from one bipolar cell it will be conducted to one ganglion cell. This is called one-to-one connection, which is seen only in the macula. However, the rest are usually conducted from many photoreceptors into a single bipolar cell, and from many bipolar cells into a single ganglion cell. This is called temporal summation, which is seen usually in the conduction. This type of conduction is seen in the periphery. The number of photoreceptors present in the retina is around 125 million. 5 million are cones and 120 million are rods. And then you have around 30 million bipolar cells and 1 to 1.2 million ganglion cells. Now from the axons of the ganglion cells, the optic nerve is formed. And the optic nerve is called the blind spot because there are no photoreceptors on that area. The photoreceptors are found all over the retina, and at the end of the day, with the conduction, the receptors, the first order neuron, the second order neuron, all the nerve fiber layer will pool into the optic nerve head. Now, the nerves are non-myelinated. It's very important that the nerves are non-myelinated because myelin scatters light, and it will prevent the light from entering into the retina. This is so important. Now, according to the blood supply of the retina, the blood supply is divided into 2 types. We have the choroid, which is responsible for giving blood supply to the outer 1/3 of the retina, and the inner 2/3 of the retina is supplied by something called the retinal vasculature, which is an ordinary blood supply. Usually the blood supply starts in arteries, arterioles, and then you have the choricapillary complex. So why the photoreceptors are bathed in a matrix? This is so important because first of all, if we have a blood vessel between the photoreceptors, this will decrease the resolution of the picture, something called pixels. And that's why the photoreceptors should be really packed together. The more they are packed, the better the outcome and the better the interpretation of the picture. That's one. Second comes the heavily populated area of photoreceptors. We have 125 million photoreceptors that are packed within a 4 cc space. You can think of it as Shanghai. It's very hard to convey blood supply using the conventional way, like the capillaries, just ordinary capillaries. That's why they are bathed more or less in a matrix. God's wisdom decided that they have to be treated as fungi in a petri dish. Here you will find the blood vessels of the retina. As you can see, the blood vessels are found in two layers. We have the outer 2/3, which are supplied by the retinal vasculature, and the inner 1/3, which is supplied by the choroid. Now, the choriocapillaris will pump all the contents of blood to the RPE, and then the RPE will filter that content to form a very nice matrix where the photoreceptors will be bathed in. And this matrix has to be high in glucose. The concentration of glucose should be high, concentration of retinol, for example, but for example proteins and other cells are not allowed to come inside that matrix. However, the outer 2/3, which are the ganglion cell and the bipolar cells, are usually nourished by the regular capillaries that are found in any other part of the body. I hope this concludes some of the physiology and anatomy of the retina. Thank you.